For the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I have a motion to approve the agenda for this evening.
So moved.
There's a second.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay. For the president's remarks, briefly, just going to say we have after we do public comments, we will get into the main reason for the special meeting tonight. Anyone making public comments, your comments need to be related to the issues of this special meeting. It's not just for any topic you wish to talk about. So with that, I'm going to open the floor to public comments. You have 5 minutes, and give me your name and address, please.
John Reeves, 18 Fishing Creek Lane. I'm astounded. Look back 3 years ago. We were in total chaos. You people have had nothing but success for the last 3 years. Why the hell can't you act like adults, get by this, and get along?
Esther Diller, 9 Widows Watch. As a former director, I can tell you diversity is what makes a good board, a board that truly represents our community. Without hesitation, I can say when I served on the board 2 years ago, we had our share of drama and diversity. The issue here is simple. The GM, who has done an excellent job, is an employee. The board is his boss. It's a board member's right and responsibility to bring concerns to the GM's attention. Is it an allegation when the boss questions the behavior or activity of an employee that could be true? I can tell you, I've been to the country club many times in the last several months with other homeowners, and the GM is there a lot of the times during different times of the day. However, I go to optics and perception, which can be misconstrued if not clarified. However, regardless of that, the GM has a right to defend, justify, and explain his behavior and actions to the employer. And it's either accepted or the behavior is changed. There may be valid reasons why the GM spends the amount of time he does at the country club versus other departments. This needs to be explained. Again, perception and optics, a big thing in Ocean Pines. For the board, because of personal alliances and friendships to an employee, to try and remove a director who brought allegations to an employee, regardless if it was done correctly or not, is not representing this association fairly. In addition, for the GM to threaten to quit again when challenged by one of his employers, regardless of how good of a job he has done, is not professional. I can tell you this behavior would not be accepted by the GM from any of his employees. Again, the current GM has done an excellent job, not by him alone, but by the team that he's assembled. This association and board cannot make these type of decisions based on whether or not an employee threatens to leave. The fact that the GM has reported to have said he will leave if a director is not removed is very concerning to me as a homeowner and a previous director. Remember, we have survived over 50 years. We will survive with or without this GM or this board for that matter. If the association doesn't like how Mr. Janasek has been representing them, then in August they can vote to replace him. That's our decision, not the board's. Mr. Janasek and all the members should always be questioning types of behaviors and action by association employees, not just the GM. I'm sure if the department head of the Public Works was sitting at the yacht club all day, the GM would be asked to investigate. Regardless of whether Mr. Janasek supports Colby Phillips for future GM is irrelevant in this situation. There are board members who are impartial to the current GM, so it works both ways. Let's not act naive or like victims on either side. This is politics, black and white. As previous Director Marty Clark said, the tail does not wag the dog. As an owner and employer of multiple companies, I can say you cannot cow down because a valued employee threatens to quit when called out for actions or demands that one of his bosses be removed. If our staff tried to do that, it would never be tolerated. With the exception of Mr. Brown, every one of you up here is here because you were elected by a homeowner. The homeowners also voted by large majority for Mr. Janasek to represent us. To try to remove him is not representing us. It is representing your own personal agendas. Address the issues for validity. If the issue is there, then decide to accept it. But either way, explain to both the GM and the director what was done wrong on both sides and what needs to change. The board needs to come together for the benefit of this association and continue the forward progress. As I would say to my fellow directors when I was on the board, cut the shit. Let's get back to work. This town is tired of the childish antics.
John Latham, 7512 Yacht Club Drive. I'm good friends with Tom, so I want to just make sure we're clear about that. I can only tell you in the 7 or 8 years that I've known Tom, he is the only board member that other than Doug, that I see out and about and actually in the community, supporting, talking, asking for questions, asking for feedback. And just truly, Tom's a dreamer. He has big dreams for us, and we like it. We like we like the things that he asks. We like that he takes input, and he has a lot of ideas, and he's not afraid to talk the truth. So again, I'm not sure how we got here today, and we only hope that the board will see fit that we're going down the wrong path here. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other public comments?
Stuart Lackernick, 9 Widows Watch Court. I want to start with thanking the board for the work that you do. I know it's a volunteer position and it requires a lot of your time. I would also like to thank our general manager for the team he has assembled and the fine work that they all do. I'd like to address the reason that we're here today. This is not the way to handle these types of conflicts. It's demoralizing to our community. The general manager reports to the board. We've all worked for bosses that we haven't liked at one time or another. You cannot try to remove a boss for this type of conduct. I urge the board and the GM to come together and resolve this issue professionally and amicably. Thank you.
Yeah. Any further public comments?
Yeah, Tom Byerly, 6 Oceans End. Came up, I know Tom pretty well. I've spent many an hour with him, and he's always spoke what he feels, and he says a lot of good things. The fact that he was elected by a fairly large number of people when we had our last election. And the thing about it is every year we have new people coming on and everything, and Tom has a different feature to this board because he's not afraid to say what he believes. Anyway, I firmly support Tom. I don't think he should be fired or should be let go. I think you guys got to get your shit together and start working things out. Everything else in this country is so screwed up right now, and this doesn't anything to help anybody. So get your act together and straighten this thing out.
Any other public comments? Seeing no further public comments, we're going to move into the reason that we're here. But before we do that, I think the community needs an explanation as to exactly how and why we got here. 2 weeks ago on Friday, the general manager reported to me, and earlier that day to Vice President Horn, and I believe earlier than that to Director Parks, that he was filing a formal complaint against Director Tom Janasek. And I'll read in a minute, I'll read the essence of the complaint. Once that complaint was made to me, after consultation with Colette Horn, we contacted our counsel, Jeremy Tucker, who is here today, to discuss the situation and to discuss what we needed to do to move forward. At that point, I directed Jeremy Tucker to conduct an investigation regarding the allegations of John's complaint. In addition to that, I instructed Jeremy to prepare a report in regard to that investigation and to let us know, in addition to his findings in the investigation, what the legal ramifications are and what the disposition and handling of the issue would be under our bylaws and Resolution B08. Jeremy conducted the investigation, and the investigation was reported to the entire board. The board met last Wednesday night for 4 hours in closed session after our general meeting to discuss the investigation, the alleged incidences, as well as the legal ramifications and the proper procedure moving forward. We suspended that meeting at about almost 12:30, re-adjourned on Thursday at 12 o'clock, and spent another 2 hours discussing all these issues. As a result of that discussion, it was clear that a motion for removal would be presented at this special meeting. A special meeting was called, and that brings us to where we are today. Colette?
Okay, can you hear me? Okay, I'm gonna present a motion. The motion is to remove Director Janasek from the board for cause in accordance with OPA bylaws, section 512B. The background, if this motion receives a second, we will hear a complaint from our general manager, John Viola, that alleges actions by Director Janasek that undermine Mr. Viola's ability to continue to be successful in his efforts to fulfill his contractual obligation to the association by delivering on performance goals given to him by the board and leading his employees in the successful achievement of their performance goals. The purpose and effect of this motion, purpose of this motion is not to punish Director Janasek, but to achieve a remedy to this complaint that fulfills our obligation as a board to provide Mr. Viola a guarantee that there will be no further actions by Mr. Janasek that undermine his ability to successfully fulfill his contractual obligations to the association. As an individual director and a behavioral scientist schooled in the tools for influencing and predicting human behavior, I believe that approval of this motion will have the effect of providing a remedy that best guarantees this effect.
Is there a second to the motion? Second. And in that there's a second to the motion, I'm going to go ahead and read the complaint. On November 6, 2020, General Manager John Viola related to me that on November 5th, 2020, Director Janasek made offensive remarks to him while he was in a business lunch with Director of Golf Operations John Malinowski at the OPA Country Club. The incident was witnessed by Director Parks and a Matterwork Company employee. John's formal verbal complaint includes this incident and a pattern of harassing comments. For example, "You're fired, I will have you fired," in front of board members, OPA employees, and OPA members since Director Janasek was elected to the board. John's complaint also alleges he made informal complaints to prior President Parks over the last 15 months regarding Director Janasek's harassing comments. John Viola's complaint alleges Director Janasek's continued attempt to publicly humiliate him in front of other board members, OPA employees, and members undermines his ability to effectively manage the business and the personnel of OPA. This incident and pattern of behavior alleged in this complaint are in violation of Resolution B08 3A 3 8 B08A 9. At this point, Director Janasek has the opportunity to either stipulate that he agrees to the complaint or to refute it.
I agree, call the vote.
I'm sorry, Tom?
I said, I agree, call the vote.
At this,
Is there any discussion?
I have a discussion comment.
Right, so, so he's accepted the
I've
facts
accepted
as
At
alleged.
this point, why would there be
Right.
discussion?
So, okay.
Well, discussion of the motion.
Wait a
Am I
minute.
allowed to do that?
Yes.
Well,
Yes.
Okay. I just would like to say to my fellow directors that in considering this motion, we must be aware that this is not about intentions behind the offending actions, but about the effect that they actually cause. We must consider not simply the stated intentions and remorse for past actions, but more importantly, our belief in the ability of Director Janasek to be aware of the likelihood of unintended effects of his actions and to use this awareness to censor his own behavior going forward.
and
Tom, just would confirm, you don't wish to make any statement regarding, obviously you've accepted the facts or regarding
Yes.
whether you or should not be removed.
Yes. I accept the
And
fact.
you don't wish to call anybody.
Nope, not at this time.
All right, I just wanted to make sure.
John would like to, sorry, I skipped over you, John, but you have the opportunity to make a statement also.
Okay, thank you. Based upon the situation, I will hold back on the statement that I had. I do want to make a comment based upon the perceptions, the optics that I heard here tonight. I've always taken the high road with Tom and everybody else, but I do want to make, and I do want to respond to the comments that I heard tonight. I am on record with the president, our lawyer, other board members, that I have not threatened to quit, nor would I quit based upon whatever happens. I never threatened to quit. I never demanded that a boss be removed, ever, ever on this. All I have done and consistently done is bring up situations that have occurred and placed it in the hands of the board. It's in the hands of the board. Again, I will repeat, I have never threatened to quit. Anybody that knows me knows I would not, and certainly not on this, nor have I ever demanded that anybody be removed. The fact that that comes up just amazes me. And everybody involved in this on this board and our lawyer knows that. I never did. As far as the clubhouse, I'll leave that in the hands of the president. He knows, and the prior president, everything and any work that I did there. The majority of it was meetings. The majority of work was there for the clubhouse. I do go there to eat, just like I did at the yacht club, which I stopped going based upon situations that happened at my birthday, as well as other times where well, I'm not going to get into it based upon that, but that's it. I never, ever threatened to quit. And I am on record with our lawyer and this board.
Any other comments? Doug?
First of all, John, I want to personally thank you for that comment. It was unclear to me. Maybe it was because I didn't understand all of the moving parts associated with the
Never.
discussions we had,
Never.
but I really sincerely thank you for that because that clears things up. And the fact that you're very adamant about that encourages me and puts my mind at ease because based on the work that you've done over the past tenure that you've had here at Ocean Pines is unparalleled in the past number of years that we've had general managers and situations that we have to deal with in order to run Ocean Pines. So again, I wanted to personally thank you for clearing that up.
Any other comments? Seeing no further comments, I'm going to, the BO8 requires that we have identify the votes of the individual directors. So I'm going to call and ask you to vote either yes on the motion to remove or no. Director Horn,
Yes.
Director Brown,
Yes.
Director Park,
No.
Director Janasek,
No.
Director Rogers,
No.
Director Daly,
No.
and Director Perrone, yes. The vote is 4 against and 3 for. The motion fails. There is a second motion.
I would like to make a motion. I would like to adopt a resolution to censure Director Janasek for the conduct documented in the complaint. You all have a copy of the censure, and at this point in time, I would like Attorney Tucker to read that.
You need a copy?
Pass that over.
Put your microphone.
This was the one sent around later this afternoon, incorporating some of the most recent comments. Tom Janasek is a member of the Ocean Pines Board of Directors. In 2018, the Board of Directors adopted Resolution B08, which establishes the ethical standards of Board of Directors and establishes limits on director interaction with an employee. Resolution B08 provides in relevant part, directors are to abide by the board's decisions even if they disagree. Section B83A3, directors are to always act within the authority given to them by the association bylaws and resolutions and the state of Maryland. See B0838A8. Directors and officers are required to act with proper decorum. B08A9, when conducting association business, either in a meeting or in an email or in other forms of communication, directors and officers are to focus on the issue and conduct themselves with courtesy, with respect towards each other and association employees. Directors and officers shall act in accordance with board decisions and shall not act unilaterally or contrary to board decisions. Directors are not to give specific direction to management, employees, or suppliers unless delegated or authorized or delegated by the board of directors or unless consistent with the duties of the directors or officers' role. On July 11th, 2012, on June, thank you. On June 11th, 2012, Larry Perrone submitted a B08 complaint to the board of directors arising from Tom Jansek's interactions.
Actually, Jeremy,
No, it's November.
that's completely wrong.
Well, it was November, sorry. I don't know when. On November 11th, sorry, Larry Perrone submitted a BOA complaint to the board of directors arising from Tom Janasek's interaction with the Ocean Pines general manager, John Viola, based on a complaint received from John Viola. A copy of Larry Perrone's complaint will be attached and incorporated herein. If this passes, Mr. Perrone's complaint alleges that upon becoming a director, Mr. Janasek repeatedly made inappropriate comments to John Viola in front of other OPA employees and members of the public, criticizing John Viola's job performance, John Viola's presence at the clubhouse and other locations, and indicating that John Viola's job was in jeopardy. Now, therefore, based on the foregoing and additional information presented to the board of directors adopts the following findings and decisions. Director Janasek was not authorized by the board of directors to give direction to John Viola about John Viola's job performance or employment status. Despite being cautioned by the OPA president, Director Janasek repeatedly made inappropriate and unauthorized public comments to John Viola in front of other OPA employees and other individuals, criticizing Viola's job performance and calling into question John Viola's employment status. Director Jansek's actions violate the above cited provisions of B08 and are contrary to the ethical and conduct expectations of an Ocean Pines director. Director Janasek is hereby censured for his actions. except when at a board of directors meeting or participating in the board of directors formal performance review of the general manager. Any future reported incident where Director Janasek makes a comment to any Ocean or other Pines employees in the presence of the Ocean Pines employees or in the presence of an Ocean Pines vendor, or whether said sarcastically, in jest, or otherwise, which is critical of an Ocean Pines employee's job performance, calls it into correctness the appropriateness of an Ocean Pines employee's presence at a particular location, or relates to the Ocean Pines employee's employment status, will constitute 4 calls and will result in the board of directors undertaking the process for the removal of Janasek for calls as set forth in section 512A4 of the bylaws. And then we have additional. Tom, do you mind if I read the agreement portion? Sure. Okay. There's an agreement portion that Tom raised for possibility, and it reads, I've read and understand and consent to the above resolution. I further agree that if I undertake any actions described in paragraph 5 of the findings and decisions of section of this resolution, I will resign from the board of directors upon notice from the board of directors. That is the conclusion. Thank you.
Is there a second to the motion? Second?
Second.
Discussion? I'd like
Yes,
to-
I have a point of discussion, if that's okay.
Sure.
I'm going to agree with what many of the people who spoke here said today. I think this board bears some responsibility for us finding ourselves here in this moment, considering how to address concerns that we have about successful performance of one of our directors. The motion that I presented was done so knowing that it was likely not to pass, but I felt that it was our responsibility as a board to convey to the membership and the employees that we take this very seriously and that we have considered all options with seriousness and gravity in thinking about how to address and correct this going forward. I would say that the board's problems include knowing the limits, individual directors knowing the limits and scope of their role as a director, the processes by which boards take actions and conduct the business of governing the association, and the board's responsibilities to actively engage in supporting successful performance as a board member when new directors come on the board. I'm asking that my colleagues consider that we engage in some work as a board to get better, to grow this board, and to correct the problems that I've listed. And I offer my personal remorse to Tom and to my fellow board members of any role that I played in being remiss in helping this board be successful and support each of the directors in being successful in adapting to their role as a director and learning how work gets done and decisions happen when one is working as a team on a board that does not give us the authority to act unilaterally in the manner in which we conduct ourselves as the employer of the general manager. Thank you.
Any other comments?
Yes.
Tom?
Larry, I have a comment.
Okay, we'll get you. Tom is going to go next, and then you'll be next.
We go? All right. First, I'd like to say I want to thank everybody for coming out. This is the most crowd we've had here in 3 years, so unfortunately it had to be for me, but I'll take that. Thank you for being here. I want to say that I want to personally apologize to John. I've sent an apology email to him, and it was not as personal as being here. If what I did and what was stated, I'm not doing into details. If it was offensive, and I apologize for that. And as of this moment with the censure, obviously this will never happen again. Secondly, I want to say that I really, truly am a member of Ocean Pines. I've been here for 45 years. I do everything for Ocean Pines. The things I say, the things I do, the things I talk about. When I talk to people out in the street and when I talk to people in Ocean Pines, I do that because I'm trying to make this place better. I've always tried to make it better. The reason I'm on the board is because I try to make it better. The reason I'm on St. Coastal Trust as a board member is trying to make the water quality better. The reason I'm on the environmental committee for years is because I'm trying to keep the place healthy. And so we have a great place to live because I truly believe Ocean Pines is a great place to live. That's why I live here. I apologize for this. I never anticipated anything like this ever coming up. I never want to see it happen again. The way I approach things is not the way everybody approaches things. And obviously I have to change my course a little bit. I am loud, I am boisterous, and I talk, I say what I think. And sometimes doing that gets me in trouble. And I am sorry for that to the board. I didn't mean to bring anybody into this position. I really didn't. And I can guarantee you from here on out that we will never have one of these sit downs and discussions about me ever again. And I hope that John doesn't quit. What he does for us with the, in every aspect, from the team to our financial situation with the COVID thing this year, to getting the PPP money, to doing everything to keeping us above board, I commend him tremendously for that. And I hope, and it was told to me, that was the only reason I heard it, about you resigning, and I didn't want that to happen. I never, ever said that. I never said it to anybody, and I never requested that. There was nothing that had to do with me. I can tell you that personally. So I just want to thank everybody for being here. I really appreciate the support. I truly, truly do. I consider you all friends, and I consider the people on the board friends, and I hope we can move forward from this without any kind of dissension or any kind of turmoil in the board, because it has been a good working board for the last 3 years, and I don't want that to end. Thank you very much.
All right. I'm gonna get Tammy.
Well, that's kind of a hard act to follow. I am sorry I can't be there with you. I am 72 hours out of having a new hip, which is working brilliantly at this moment. But Tom, I appreciate, I think, what is your general remorse. And I promise personally to be a hawk watching over you like a mother guards her saplings, if I need to do that. And I think we all will. I think that we are at a place now where we know that we need to talk openly and honestly to each other about our reactions and our opinions and the way that we go about doing our business. I'm glad that you are remorseful. I think if you have a chance to do things better and you don't take it, shame on you. But I have a funny feeling that you have a chance to do things better. And I think you will do that. So thank you. And I'm glad people are there to support you. I am sorry I'm not there with my colleagues, but I hope to see you soon.
Mr. President, request permission to meet halfway with Mr. Janasek to
Sure.
shake his hand.
Sure. Good.
Well, we'll fist bump. I don't.
Fist bump, right? Frank, did you have a comment?
I do. I do. Look, I can tell you, this is a very tough call and a situation to be in as a board member. And I can tell you also, sitting on this board, one of the very toughest things the director has to do is to draw a very fine line between oversight and making sure something is done right and doing it themselves. And the other thing that's very tough being a director that most don't realize is the tremendous scrutiny that you are under by fellow directors, by employees, and by members of the community. Every single thing you do, every single thing you say is scrutinized by the public and by the media. And what makes this a very tough call, make no mistake about it. Ocean Pines is currently being managed better than it has been any time since I've lived in the community. I can tell you unequivocally In a recent rating, John Viola got a rating from me that probably 3 people got over my entire working career. The results are outstanding and unquestionable. Tom has also contributed very strongly. And the line that divided it for me and the line that has to divide it going forward, good employees simply cannot be threatened by their employer. And we have one employee as a board, and that's the general manager.
Any other comments? I'm going to make a short comment. First off, I want to echo what Frank just said. This process over the last 2 weeks has been exhausting for all of us, as well as Jeremy. I want to thank Jeremy for his help, his guidance in managing this process. This process is new as a result of the resolution B08 and how these things are handled. No one wanted to be here, not Tom, not the rest of us, not John. The obligation of the board is to protect our employees, not just John, but also all the employees, to make sure that the work environment that exists in Ocean Pines is appropriate. I believe with this censure, Tom understands the gravity of what went on here, and that we will see tremendous improvement that everyone will be satisfied with. As also has been said, this is a good working board. Results from last year and the things that are continuing to go are more than has ever occurred here in my 38 years of being involved with Ocean Pines. So again, I'm glad we have reached a resolution here, and I'm going to call for the vote on this censure. And again, we'll record it by individuals. Colette,
Yes.
Director Brown,
Yes.
Director Parks,
Yes.
Director Janasek, Director Rogers,
Yeah.
Director Daly,
Yes.
and Director Perrone, yes. Motion passes. And with that, can I have a motion for adjournment?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.